Hey guys, it's Matt again from Uprising Firearms, and today we got something super cool. We received a phone call from the CMP, aka the Civilian Marksmanship Program, on Monday, stating that we had gotten picked for the 1911 program. I submitted the paperwork back, I'd say September, October. This is last year, I think, and waited so long I didn't think I was going to get anything. A couple other people I knew had submitted paperwork as well and had not heard anything. We all assumed that things had been sold out and whatnot, but then judging from what the CMP forum was saying was the guns had not all been sold. They were just slow to get through all of the orders and packets and things like that. So currently, as of today, if you submitted a packet and it was complete and they accepted it, you are still in the running to get a 1911. You can opt to try and purchase one from the auction website, which is where the more collectible guns are at, or you can wait in line and hopefully get picked in the lottery to purchase one of these. Most of these pistols are going to be service grade. They did offer a rack grade, and there is a field grade available. However, the field grade was not available. Based on what I read, they have limited quantities of certain pistols, and whatever they offer you at the time that they call you is what they have. So if you ask for something else, they're not going to have it. You cannot buy an auction pistol and then also get a phone call and order one of these certain grades. It's one per customer per packet only. Now, once these pistols have been sold out, which was only 8,000 that they received from the Army, anybody who had completed submitted packets that was not drawn will be eligible for the next run. Essentially, what they're trying to do is make sure that anybody who took the time and effort to submit a packet in the first place is going to get a pistol eventually. So, one of the differences in obtaining a 1911 versus the M1 Garands or carbines or the O3s that Springfield has offered in the past is the additional paperwork you have to go through. They did this probably to help kind of minimize the amount of people who were just going to grab one real quick to turn around and sell. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case with most of the Garands that are for sale. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a gun show and there's a CMP field or rack grade Garand that someone paid $500 or $600 for out on the shelf for $1,200 or $1,300. And any and all good parts or rare parts were stripped off of it long ago to put on another more desirable firearm. I get a lot of customers coming into the shop here asking for M1 Garands, and although it loses me money, I always direct them to the CMP. There's nothing like getting a gun from the government through a program that has people specially trained and armorers and everything like that to guarantee the quality of the gun that you're getting. And the Civilian Marksmanship Program is really an excellent entity because they help promote civilian marksmanship and shooting sports. If you've ever gone to a CMP shoot, you know what I'm talking about. It's a ton of fun. And really, we need to be supporting these guys and helping to further the program. The marksmanship program was originally started somewhere around the turn of the century, around World War I, and essentially what they wanted to do is to have the civilian population of America be marksmen. And that was really to defend the homeland had there ever been any sort of invasion. Because back around that time, America's standing army was actually quite small and technologically challenged, shall we say. So they relied on having much of the populace being able to shoot accurately. And that was the hope. So anyways, another thing I want to touch on with these guns is price point. Got all sorts of people running all over the forums and on Facebook and things like that, yelling about the prices of these things. The rack grade was $850. I think the field grades are $950, and the service grade that I got here is $1050. I have to break it to you guys that are saying that $1,000 is too much money for a GI 1911. You can't go to a gun show and find a decent gun anywhere for that kind of money. We were just at the Prescott Valley, Arizona gun show, and the cheapest 1911 GI gun I could find was an Arsenal refurbished Remington Rand, and that gun had the incorrect magazine and a Vietnam-era barrel, a mix of Vietnam and World War II parts, some old pitting through the new Parkerizing and things like that. The guy wanted $1,500. He wasn't really willing to budge. The next gun that I saw at the show was an Ithaca that had also been redone. It had a very dark slide and an almost bright green lower receiver, and it was not very attractive. It did come with a great Boit 44 dated holster and some mag pouches and extra magazines, but that gun was priced at $1,600. There was a couple other high-end collectible 1911s, but as far as finding yourself a shooter gun at about $1,000, you're going to have a little bit more difficulty. Obviously, it varies from region to region, but I think that's going to be pretty average. You're looking at least $1,000, if not better, for probably a parts gun at most of the gun shows. So to get something like this from the CMP that's been inspected by a certified and trained armorer, and it's sold through the CMP, it's collectible. It's something that will be timeless. That's why anytime you see a Garand with papers or CMP, DCM papers, it always goes for a premium. They've only released 8,000 of these pistols. It's unknown how many are going to the auction site, so out of those 8,000, how many are being sold as regular sales? I'm going to say, 7,500, 7,000 pistols if they put 5 or 1,000 pistols up on the auction site that are collectible or rare. So out of those 7,500, let's say, pistols that were really available, they've received 19,000 applications. And I bet you they would have gotten a whole lot more had the paperwork process not been so involved, and that let's say the wait time wasn't as bad. I think a lot of people were impatient and thought it was too much and weren't going to worth waiting. It's my belief that these pistols in the future are going to run into several thousands of dollars as far as collectability, especially if the Army does not release any more pistols to the CMP. So you can look at just the price of M1Ds and Cs and M1 carbines that the CMP has sold. Any of those guns, you'd probably triple, quadruple your money on what some people paid for them. I think that's going to be the same deal with these guns. So anyways, this is what it comes in. I just opened up the box. It's actually a very nice quality pistol case. Doesn't have a name brand anywhere. It's Pelican-esque, but not Pelican. So I'm sure it's some other off-brand or competitor. But let's see if there's anything inside of it. It might tell us what it is. We got a little tag here. Let's see what this says. So all these pistols are shipped priority overnight. They called me Monday, took my payment. This shipped yesterday, and today is Wednesday, and it was delivered. One of the things that the CMP has said many times over and over is to please verify your FFL is going to be around to receive it, and that you check with them first before you start calling and yelling at them that you don't know where your pistol is. Fedex Overnight and any of the expedited services that go by air generally will make a couple delivery attempts and then send the thing back if no one is home. So those of you guys who use little home FFLs, kind of like I am, make sure your guy is going to be available during the day to take these. If they're not, go to a normal storefront or somebody that is home all the time, like myself. Otherwise, they're going to send your pistol back and they're going to charge you a $25 fee to reship it. And again, if you think your pistol should be delivered, check with your FFL before you call the CMP. Those guys are busy enough already then to tell you, after looking up the tracking info for you, that it's already been delivered 30 days ago. So just some words of advice. So all of the pistols will come with your info. That's my really goofy Polish name, and that's the number to the shop right there. Taped to box, just like the Grands are. Pistols have to be sent to an FFL, and the CMP does a background check on the buyer before they ship the pistol, and then the pistol is, you have to do a 4473 in order to pick it up from your FFL. I own the FFL, so I still have to fill out the paperwork in my name, but this gun is for me. So looks like there's a checklist of things that are in the packaging. There is an FFL from the CMP. It looks like they've obtained one. The FFL name is CMP 1911. I'm not going to show that on camera because the ATF generally does not like us to give out full FFL numbers or some of that sensitive information. People get the bad idea of trying to steal licenses and use them for naughty things, so we're not going to do that. Anyways, here is, looks like a receipt. That's the address of the shop. That's me. That's what I paid. They charge my credit card. Okay, cool. So there's some receipt paperwork here. Ooh, here we go. This is cool. There's my certificate of authenticity. So most of the newer CMP firearms are sent out with a letter that tells you exactly the name, the grade of the rifle or pistol now. In the past, they would just send out a letter with a name, and that kind of got a little bit cloudy when it came to certain rifles, especially the Grands. Whether you were buying a second-hand collector grade or like a real high-end service grade, there are some guns that came out of the CMP that are like a service grade or lower that were technically all correct rifles that should have been collector grade, but perhaps the stocks were a little dinged up or the finish wasn't as nice as it could have been, and so it didn't get graded into the collector grade category. So oftentimes the paperwork won't really indicate what grade it came out of the CMP. Now, I'm not sure if you can call them and get that information. I think they do offer some sort of services to get like letters and things like that. They might charge a small fee for that. I think it's like $25 or $50. So if you suspect you have a CMP firearm, you can possibly get a reissue of a certificate from them. But generally, the sellers who know what they have hold on to the box and the papers and everything like that. I do. I don't really ever plan on selling any of my CMP guns, but that's just something that you should look out for. So, anyways, that's that. Oh, looks like some safety information about padlocks, because all responsible gun owners padlock their firearms all the time. Yeah, okay. Whatever. So, oh, okay, look at this. Looks like they teamed up with a holster manufacturer to make some Repro GI holsters. Looks like coupon code 20% off, retail price of $99.99. So that's kind of cool. I recognize this name. This is a pretty good quality leather company. For somebody who wants to take these to vintage matches or carry it or something like that, these are probably great. However, you can pick up GI surplus holsters like this, relatively similar priced or even less, at gun shows and online and probably eBay and all that stuff. So, but this is really cool that they did this. I think that just kind of helps the nostalgia of it if you can get yourself a Repro GI style holster that you can actually use. So, very cool. I like that. So, all right, let's see. Underneath the tag was this cool little emblem that's stuck on the box. That's cmp.org. CMP also sells all sorts of ammunition and accessories and parts, things like that. So if you need some stuff for your military service weapon, they're a great resource. So let's see, what do we got? Okay. So it comes in a nice pre-cut foam. Let's look at the magazine first. Oh, I know, everyone's going to hate me for looking at the mag first, but I got to tease you a little bit, guys. So, looks like, yep, we got, I don't know if the camera can focus. Looks like a big G. I think anything marked on the base like that on the top of the lip is generally a World War II GI mag. This real heavy spot welding and fold is throwing me off. I don't really recall seeing stuff like this on most GI mags. There's a good possibility this is some sort of aftermarket mag, maybe. It's got a little bit of a two-tone to it. I'm going to have to do a little homework on this. This looks a little unusual. I have heard of guys getting original Vietnam or World War II surplus mags, and or even Metgar magazines, which are new production. Metgar is OEM for a lot of companies. So big G on the top lip there. Going to have to figure out what this mag is, but my hunch says right off the top that this is some sort of aftermarket thing. So, all right. Foam. There's some goodies in here. Oh, there's that awesome padlock, guys. Keep you safe. Empty chamber indicator, the little flags. These are great for taking to the range, especially if you got one of those uptight style ranges or range masters that flip out over the littlest infraction. These are great to put in your guns, so that way you can visually see that it's empty. Cool. It's got a reprint of the Department of Army Technical Manual of the Pistol 45. That's really cool. I don't know. I'm a bit of a sucker for little things like this that are added to guns, and like when you buy a package, things like the flyer for the holster or the manual, and little cool little tidbits like that really make the overall experience of buying a firearm like this a lot more enjoyable. It's just it's an additional accessory to kind of have and look through, and I think having a manual for these pistols is kind of a requirement anyways, so that most people who've never handled a 1911 or a GI one can, safely shoot and use theirs. So this is cool. I like the manual a lot. So, yep, cool. All about your 1911. Let's get this guy out of the way. Put this back. All right, here we go. What is this guy? Frame is US&S and slide is Colt. That's maybe the serial number 109 Yeah, that's the serial number. Okay, this is cool. Most of these pistols came from two sources, and I believe on the CMP forums they were kind of discussing where they were from. I may be incorrect, but I'm kind of going by looking at it 2 in the morning with a few drinks in me. But Anniston Arsenal did a lot of these rebuilds in the 70s, and those are typically like this style light gray park, which some people don't really like. However, with a little bit of oiling, this darkens up right away. These pistols have probably been in storage for a long time, and if you put a little bit of light oil on them, they darken right up. So the light parkerizing may kind of turn a few people off, but I like it. So this is definitely a Colt style slide. It's not really liking a focus. The prancing pony is there. I could see it. The camera might not pick it up. But I'm going to have to figure out what this US&S frame designation is. There is a very lightly stamped circle cartouche underneath the slide stop. There's a P-proof there behind the magazine release. And I'm looking, looks like it's a capital RCD in a circle. I'm not a super aficionado on 1911, so I'm going to have to figure out what that is. So we're gonna go grab one of our books real quick and find out. Okay, so I took a quick pause to run over to the book and Google Foo and do some quick info on what this is, and I gotta say I'm pretty ecstatic with the results. The RCD is a proof marking that was put on Union switch and signal pistols. They only produced like 50,000 of these guns the whole time, so I believe other than the Singer pistols, which are like ultra rare, this is like the second rarest gun you can get, like by a lot. So I'm really excited that I got this. So this is a definite score from the CMP. I know it's not an original Union switch and signal pistol, but the fact that I got the frame from one is awesome. Very cool talking point, and I'm definitely going to brag to all my buddies about this and make them feel bad, especially if they end up getting a 1911 and mine's better. So definitely some cool bragging rights there. Looking at some of the features on the pistol, you got the short trigger, you've got the reinforced screw lining on the grips there, that kind of circle, those are reinforced grips. I believe that's kind of be the World War II A1 style mainspring housing. There's a little thinner hammer there. There is nothing marked on the outside of the barrel, so we're going to have to pull that apart and see what kind of markings we see inside the gun. Let's take a look. So, as you can see, the pistol actually was very tight. I would almost reckon that this was rebuilt to like new standards. Some of the field and rack grade guns guys were buying in the hopes that they were more earlier or original type firearms that weren't heavily arsenaled like this one was. All of the parts in here are very uniformly matching as far as finish goes in the parkerizing. So this gun was completely rebuilt, and it feels like new. I suspect this will probably make a great shooter, and it will be serviceable for the rest of my life. So you're going to see little tiny dings and things, imperfections in the metal through the parkerizing. After all, these are pistols that were probably issued during World War II, Korea, and or Vietnam, and any other number of base installations and other small combat zones around the world before being rebuilt. So, but that definitely gives it some cool character and things like that. I'm not really seeing any kind of markings on the bushing or anything. No, nothing on there. The parts are extremely dry, so the first thing you're going to want to do is take this gun apart, wipe any kind of dust or leftover stuff out of it, and then properly lubricate your firearm. This is, yeah, this is like bone dry. So we got a, I believe it's a Colt barrel. It's marked Colt 45 right there. And then right there at the base, we've got an F stamping. I'm going to have to look that up in my book. I don't recall off the top of my head. But as far as the rifling and everything, it looks pretty awesome. Good rifling. Again, we've got a Colt slide. I'm going to have to look up exactly what this is, but I'm thinking World War I vintage slide, perhaps maybe World War II. There's some telltale ways to know. Again, I don't memorize a lot of the 1911 stuff by heart, so I wouldn't be able to just look at it and tell you, but I do have all the source material to be able to find out. So that's super cool. I'm super stoked that I got a Union Switch and Signal lower receiver or frame. That really makes this purchase totally worth it. I would have been happy with whatever I got just to have one, but this is kind of like an icing on the cake. And you see it's marked 1911 A1. United States property. So this is super cool. I'm really happy. If you didn't put in your paperwork for the CMP 1911 drawing, well, sorry, you missed out. Your chances of getting one in the future are a lot smaller because everyone's gonna get theirs first that did do the paperwork. So maybe eventually, if they keep releasing more and more pistols, it'll become available. And if things continue on a positive light, they might start releasing all of the Berettas and other military arms that they've got in storage. The military ends up actually losing a lot of money paying for the storage facilities, the security, and then having these firearms inspected once or twice a year. So that's why they figured, you know, we can recoup some money and give them to the CMP and just sell them off. So these are super cool. I definitely recommend you support the CMP, visit their website, check us out on Facebook and on our website at uprisingfirearms.com. And thanks for watching.